Good morning, beloveds. It's cold out there. And I work out in a garage with my trainer. And, yeah, it was either in the low 40s or the high 30s. And he doesn't have his heater yet. So it was nice and cool. I felt sorry for the guy before me because at least the sun was coming up when I got in there. So by the time I was done, it was hot. But, it is also Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. So, take that for what it is. But it is December 7th. Our title is The Changeless Abides with Me. I am calm and peaceful in the midst of confusion. I am the Lord, I change not. That is from Malachi 3 and 3:6. And then the Tao, considered as unchanging, has no name. And that is from the text of Taoism. All right. We should realize that all the great scriptures have taught one identical message, the unity of good. All the sacred books have been inspired by the one mind. Each in its own tongue has told the story of reality. I am the Lord, I cannot change, was revealed to the Hebrew mystic. To the great Chinese sage came the same message. The Tao cannot change. It has no name. And to Hermes, God is in itself, by itself, full and perfect. If we can bring to this glorified conception the realization that this divine being is the breath of our breath, omnipresent, forever within us, then we shall realize that we live in one eternal and perfect mind. As an exception from the sacred books on the attributes of God says, there is no variableness in God, since God is eternal, immortal, and infinite. Nevertheless, God is that from which every transformation arises. This means that while we live in the eternal, which does not change, we are forever drawing from it the possibility of the manifold expressions that give variety to existence and that make living interesting. I know that the changeless abides in me. I am calm and peaceful in the midst of confusion. I know that nothing moves the soul. Peace, infinite peace, is at the center of my being. I live, move, and have my being in that which is perfect, complete within itself. That self is myself. Oh my God. Okay. Here is the way that I am feeling right now. I love religion. I love spirituality. I love mythology. I love sacred texts. I love sacred texts from every one out there. If you hand me a sacred text from any religion, I will be happy to read it. But December feels like I have gotten myself into a doctoral program and I'm not out of high school yet. I just want you to know that this is how I feel. So if you are feeling on board with this, great. I am happy for you. This is making me work for it. This is making me work hard for it. So yeah, he's really throwing concepts at me that are making my head spin. Just so you know. I mean, I get it, but it's like there's so many layers and levels and I just, okay. Which is why I'm grateful that I'm doing it in the morning, not at night when I'm tired. Okay. The changeless abides with me. I am calm and peaceful in the midst of confusion. That is a powerful statement for any time that you are in the midst of confusion. And Malachi, I am the Lord, I cannot change. Reverend Jesse says that a lot. It's like the eternal cannot change. The expressions of the eternal can change in the material, because that's what we are. We're constantly coming from spirit into form and going back into form. We are constantly changing. But the place that we come from, the thing that we come from, because we can't describe it. If we try and describe it, we sound crazy. And that's, every mystic ever. That can't change. Because it is what it is. That's why it's called the I am, because we can't encompass it. I am the Lord. I cannot change. I cannot change my nature. Meaning spirit, not me. I can change my nature. I'm very mercurial. And then the Tao, considered as unchanging, has no name, because when we name it, we limit it. And we're limited because we are material. There is a kernel of us that is infinite, but the rest of us is material, and that limits us. And so when we try, and we are doing a disservice when we try and limit the ultimate reality, or the mind, or the patterning intelligence, or God, whatever word you want, we limit it because we can't conceptualize it. So we limit it we take small bites so that we can, but we have to remember back of the small bites that we take so that we can, I'm going to use the word deal with it, is something so beyond. And that's what he's kind of working on this month. It's like, I'm going to turn this lamp on and you are going to see so much more than you thought was even possible. We should realize that all the great scriptures have taught one identical message, the unity of good. It's also called the golden thread. And pretty much that's with Science of Mind, it's not a revealed teaching. It's I think the word is syncretic. It's like Ernest went and read a bunch of stuff and went, they're all kind of saying the same thing. And so he was trying to pull out that golden thread. It's like, everybody has a piece of the truth. Nobody has the whole truth. So even Science of Mind doesn't claim to have the whole truth. But what Science of Mind says is, well, everybody has pieces of the truth. And so we come here to get a look at the picture on the box. Oh. Okay. I was out, so God knows what I got. Up my nose. All of the sacred books have been inspired by the one mind. All of the sacred books have the same source. They were just written in, and he says it in the next, in the next line. Each in its own tongue has told the story of reality, and he uses the capital R there. They all come from the one mind, capital M, the ultimate reality, capital R. I am the Lord, I cannot change, was revealed to the Hebrew mystic. That's Malachi, by the way. To the great Chinese sage came the same message. The Tao cannot change. It has no name. And then to Hermes, and I think he's talking about Hermes Trismegister. And the name of the book just popped right out of my head. God is in itself, by itself, full and perfect. If we can bring to this glorified conception the realization that this divine being is the breath of our breath, omnipresent, forever within us, then we shall realize that we live in one eternal and perfect mind. The breath the breath of our breath. We are nothing without that eternal reality. We are nothing without that one mind. And we all have that one mind. We all contain that kernel or that splinter. And it's what we're made of. But why we call it a splinter is because there's no way for us to encompass the whole. And yet we strive to. And yet we strive to. And if we can remember that we are but a splinter of the whole, and we continue to strive for the whole rather than thinking that we have the whole, because I think that's where the danger is we think that the one splinter that we have is all there is. And it's not. There's so much more than us. It's so much bigger than us. It's so much bigger than us that there's no way for us to possibly encompass it all. And yet we try. And as long as we're trying, then we're doing the work. When we think that our one splinter is it, then we've stopped working. We've stopped doing the work. We've stopped trying. We've stopped growing. We've stopped expanding. And then frequently we proceed to run around and tell all the other splinters out there that they're wrong. And that's where the danger lies. An excerpt from the sacred books on the attributes of God says, "There is no variableness in God, since God is eternal, immortal, and infinite. Nevertheless, God is that from which every transformation arises." And that is in quotes. So that is a quote from a sacred text. This means that while we live in the eternal, which does not change, we are forever drawing from it, capital, the possibility of the manifold expressions that give the variety to existence and that make living interesting. So there's one, but the one went, let's see what happens. And so we are what happens. We are what happens. And it's beautiful and it's wonderful and it's terrifying all at the same time. I know that the changeless abides with me. I am calm and peaceful in the midst of confusion. I know that nothing moves the soul. Peace, infinite peace, is at the center of my being. That right there. Peace. Infinite peace is at the center of my being. So when we're dealing with the confusion and we are spitting out that is where we go. Peace. The infinite peace that is the center of our soul. That infinite peace that is the splinter of the divine within us. We go to that place where nothing has ever been wrong. We go to that place of infinite peace. And we fill up and we come back and we do. So that in the midst of the confusion of the mortal realm, we have that. We have a place to go. We have a well to fill at. And we bring that well back with us. I live, move, and have my being in that which is perfect, complete within itself. That self is myself. So, we live, move, and have our beings in that which is perfect, complete within itself. That self is our self. We are a splinter of the most amazing thing ever. Oh, all right. I don't know. I'm kind of looking at the mission going, well, what is our mission today? Our mission, should we choose to accept it? Oh yeah. No, our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to be calm and peaceful in the midst of confusion. To know who we really are. To know that we are divine splinters, or godlings, or beloved children of spirit in whom spirit is well pleased. That is what we are. And that means that we have access to the infinite peace, to the perfect peace. Always. But sometimes it requires us to stop a minute, to be still, to get quiet, to listen. All right. I'm going to encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself every day. Today, every day. To live in that state of grace and to know that you have access to that infinite peace. I'm going to encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body. If you want to do it inside. I mean, us Southerners, this 30 and 40 stuff, it's a bit more than we want, but I like a good 60s. It's going to get there today though, so it'll be a good day. And then open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you you live in heaven now. It is all around you. And sometimes it just takes you taking a breath and realizing who's breathing you. Realize who you are. All right, beloveds. Reverend David will be on with you around 5 p.m. I will be back with you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Sunday is one up on YouTube. It is up on YouTube if you want to see that, or scroll a couple of videos back right here on Facebook and catch it with the music. All right, beloveds, have a wonderful day.